Všichni chceme být šťastní. Každý člověk chce být milován. Všichni chceme být zdraví. Každý z nás si chce užívat života.
Nejenom, že spoustu lidí se schovává za to, že nemá čas. A je to...
Jako změnu, proč chtějí udělat tu změnu a ta změna by měla vycházet z nějakého vnitřního přesvědčení.
A za ty roky už si osvojíte nějaký systém a je to velmi jednoduché, máme to zakomponované celá rodina i s manželem a tam už nemusím nic plánovat, to se prostě žije.
Hi guys, hi everyone, and welcome to my next chat with lovely Angg Woo.
Hi.
So I'll tell you, I was so excited to chat to this woman because we connected in the UK when I lived there, and we did one interview already, and it was just great, you know. Whenever we kind of met and connected, there was some kind of like interesting energy, and I thought, let's reconnect again, and here we are.
Yeah, we're gonna be creating some electricity today, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, the doubt that it's gonna come back to you, right? 100%, perfect. So we're gonna start by tapping into your journey, how far you've come, what you've been doing, how you got to where you are right now, because it's all about the story and we want to hear your story. So please share it with us.
Okay, so this is great how life can change, you know, within such a short period of time. When we met last, when we had our last interview, I was still working as a personal trainer, very woo-woo personal trainer, and I had this massive aspiration to become a mindset coach, life coach, and nutrition coach. And I was, at that time, I was already studying to become a life coach, but things usually takes time. Because the COVID hit really hard last year, I finally found the time to finalize all of my plans. I had the time to sit down and do it. So since last year, I'm officially qualified, accredited, licensed life coach, and I'm just about to finish my nutrition coaching certification, which is what I wanted to do for a very long time. But if you ask me, what am I doing right now? Am I going to be like only a life coach because this is the direction I'm going? My answer is no. And last year I was I was trying to figure this out, you know, like who am I going to be now? How I'm going to present myself to people, because people have this tendency, they attach the labels to you, especially when you do something for quite some time. And I knew that I am not just PT. I knew that I want to be something more, and I became that by working with myself and having this aspiration to share that with other people. But I've realized that I cannot discredit my past and my previous passion because it's still there. So I'm still doing personal training. I'm still promoting physical activity because, in my opinion, it has massive and very positive impact on our mind, which I'm also working at the same time. So I kind of target people, you know, from the different angles, trying to give like a 3D product where I can work on their mindset, on their emotions. I use a fitness activity for that. You know, I don't, let me say it this way. The way how I teach people moving their bodies is about them feeling great in their own skin, not them focusing on losing the inches or losing, you know, the weight on the scale. This is just like a secondary byproduct effect of targeting the well-being, feeling really good, and moving for fun, you know, not for a goal, stepping on stage or something like that. So that was a difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, there is a big difference, isn't it? And it's, I would say, it's one of the techniques, how seriously not to get crazy when we go through some tough times, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So did you just ask me questions, or I'm just trying to, you know, figure this out what you said? Just can you repeat that, please?
No. It was about your journey, which you kind of like answered, you know. And I know that you were focusing on something, and then your actually journey took you on this path. It was there, it was meant to be. You just followed your instinct. But let's talk about those tough times, because everyone goes through tough times when we feel like we are going crazy, actually. How did you get out of some crazy times, and give us some examples?
Well, to be fair, you know, when you go through something, first of all, you don't plan that you're gonna have a tough time. Life can surprise you. Life can surprise you. So for me, it's more about preparing yourself mentally, working on understanding that, you know, whatever happens, it's here to teach us something. You know, you can't take everything personally. Obviously, you might be reacting to situations, but it's really about learning how to respond to them. Also, this is something what I keep repeating to myself, and I think this is very powerful, that nothing, completely nothing lasts forever. No emotion, no circumstance, no event. This will pass. So if you take a step back and look at it, you know, just from that perspective, you'll know this is just like just a moment, just a blip, you know. So don't dive into, you know, with all of your energy, with all of your emotions, because this will pass. This will pass. Just look at it from a completely different perspective. I know that some days are harder than others. There might be days where you feel like, you know, oh, I've got this tendency to swear, but I'm trying not to swear. So you have days that you really feel like you don't want to wake up, and you think, you know, what's the point? But, you know, in the end of the day, everybody feels the same to some degree. Everybody have a better day or have a worse day, regardless the circumstances, regardless where you're coming from or what you've been through. And
so what about
just
yeah, so what about your experience? Like, give us one example when you were kind of like going through tough times, and what did you do to really overcome that? To not to get crazy. Why didn't you get crazy when you were going through tough time?
well, the thing is first of all, I didn't want to go crazy.
Good. That's good.
I knew that, well, okay, this is something what is really messing with my head, you know, but I don't want to lose myself in that, you know. And I probably wasn't planning to talk about one of my biggest life challenges, you know, but I'm gonna mention that because maybe that will help someone there to put their pieces together and just to move forward. As we spoke last, I already told you that I used to suffer with bulimia. That was my way of dealing with stress. And not many people know, but you know, majority of the problems, traumas we're going through, they are our childhood traumas. This is where they are rooted. And then we just put the layers of experience, years, you know, just an age on top of that, and we forget where it's coming from. And for me, when I was younger, I learned to use my bulimia to deal with my emotions, because I had to somehow express myself, let them out. But I felt like I didn't want to make myself visible to anyone, so nobody had to, you know, just worry about me. So I didn't want to add to someone's problem. So that was my secret weapon, which then in the long time turned into my personal enemy. But I knew that I don't want to finish, you know, my life by just wasting myself that way. At that time, at the very beginning, it was serving the purpose. But when I got older, I realized that it's not serving me anymore, and I had just this habit, you know, to deal with. So that was the moment I had to learn how to overcome that, because that started, you know, that was eating me out from the very beginning. But at first, I didn't eat that and didn't see that. I did realize that, you know, I had to change it, you know, just later. And I didn't ask for help. I did it myself. So from one side, I might be probably living a proof that you can do it for yourself. If you choose yourself, if you decide that you want better for yourself, that you deserve better for yourself. And second, you know, if you have a chance and you can go out to somewhere and speak to someone who you trust, you're probably gonna end that journey faster. You know, I was too proud and I didn't want to admit that I had a problem, you know. But imagine, you know, if I didn't didn't allow myself to go through, you know, different stages, and I didn't dig deeper to find out what was the reason why I started doing it in the first place. If I didn't have that curiosity, I would probably never overcome it. Now I feel that I'm blessed that I had that experience, because I have something to share as well. You know, I can share it and I can help others. You know, it's not like one-way road. You know, once you get on that road, you know, there is no hope for you. There is hope. And you know, people think that, well, I'm talking about my bulimia, but there is many other ways people deal with their stresses, and they are trying to numb themselves. And it could be alcohol, it could be narcotics, you know, it could be the same underlying issue, but different method to deal with that, you know. So for me, that was the thing, you know, which was one of the hardest moments in my life. And it wasn't one day, it wasn't 1 week, wasn't a month. It did take a while, because like I said, I was working on myself by myself, but I was opening myself to listen to people who had something to say, and I knew deep down that it was resonating with me, it was helping me in some way, you know. And then when I finally admitted to myself that I had bulimia, because I never told anybody, that was the moment of freeing myself completely. Because I said it out loud, and I didn't feel embarrassed about it anymore, because I really understood that was my way of dealing with my stress, my method to deal with the stress. You know, so that was the one of the hardest thing that I dealt, and probably that led me to this desire to become a life coach. You know, because physical activity was helping me to release some sort of stress and pain, but you can't train 24/7. I said that, you know, just before. It's impossible. And people find different ways just to satisfy themselves. You know, just it could be food, it could be alcohol. You know, in my case, it was food. And then obviously, you know, just the thoughts that I had after were just leading me towards doing what I was doing, you know, just to release it. But, you know, I'm glad that's in the past. It's gone. You know, I fixed it. And that made me much stronger as well during this pandemic time, because especially last year when it first time hit us, and we had to be in the lockdown, you know, you're pulled away from this busyness of the life, and then you have to face yourself. You kind of have to look at yourself, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that might be coming up, you know, because, oh look, we are facing the situation, we never had it before. Okay, it's not easy, you know. You are kind of you know, you have to distance yourself from everybody. Everything what was normal and usual to you is taken away from you. So what you gonna do, you know? And if you have not dealt with something, like in my case it was bulimia, you could go easily just fall back into the same trap, you know, to try to, you know, numb yourself every way possible. But I started finding different ways of dealing, you know, just with the stress, because I said, okay, so this led me to this point here. I've learned my lesson. I appreciate that, you know, I can speak openly about it. But now what am I gonna do now? You know, what am I gonna do now? And then I thought, well, I have to keep this occupied, because if this is not occupied, then I have too much time to think, you know, and that's not a good thing sometimes.
Sometimes.
So I've decided to, like I said to you, to finish my qualifications, which I did, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. And I also gone back to doing other things that I really enjoy, which was art. I started creating stuff again, started expressing myself in arty way, and that was something what I haven't done for ages, because it was, you know, when you're really busy, you have no time for anything. Your schedule is filled up to the brim. You know, you're going to speak to people, you're going to work with people. There's no time for you. And last year, I've just realized that, okay, so I have so much of time available at the minute. I moved everything online, so I obviously had to change my way of working. And funny enough, you know, if not the COVID, I would probably never go online. And I wanted to go online for so many years. I told you that before, remember. So I tried to look at COVID as an opportunity for me to make some changes, you know. So it was a mindset, you know, more than anything. But don't think that, you know, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I still have moments when I'm thinking, oh Jesus, I would really like to just leave the house right now, just go do something like normal people do, you know. But I keep reminding to myself, you know, it's just a temporary situation. It might be prolonged, you know. Maybe there is more things to do for you right now, which you need to focus on, you know.
Yeah.
But this is gonna end at some point, and that's what I'm trying to do, you know.
Yeah, so you said so much, and it's really nice to have it all wrapped up, but I'm gonna tap back into when you were not feeling great and
Go on.
ask you what you did to change it. Like, what was the thing that helped you to actually move from where you were to feeling better, feeling great? What did you change?
Do you know, there's not one definite answer. I think it was about choosing myself every day again and again, you know, making the decision and working on new habits, you know, just of, you know, how do I want to be, how do I want to feel, rather how I did feel, you know, before.
I like that. That's amazing. That's so powerful, because you said you were working on yourself and you were making a decision. So it's up to an individual to really tap into himself, herself, to find and decide whether that's where I am right now. I feel great, I feel alive, I feel happy, or whether I feel crap, I feel unhappy, I'm getting a bit crazy. And now it's really the decision-making time, isn't it? Because otherwise, no one does anything unless you decide to change something in your life. Guess what? Nothing will change.
But I would
You'll
tell you
stay where
one
you are.
thing, Monica, you know, as you said, you know, making decision is a very powerful thing, but not making decision is also making a decision.
Also, yeah, very true. Yeah, yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. It's actually choosing to stay where you are in that dark place, in that dark room, and not really moving anywhere. Yeah, yeah. It's like a hamster in his little playground, right? Running around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So
Yeah.
choosing yourself every single day. But what also helped me a lot, it still does, and I don't think if I am ever gonna stop practicing that, because I will go crazy.
Yeah. What is it?
It's my morning routine.
Great.
Every morning I meditate and I set intention for the day. So I set the tone for the day, you know, and that really helps me to be less reactive. I'm more responsive, which kind of give me like a buffer of time to decide whether I want to be angry or I want to be more positive, you know. It's just, it's kind of hard to explain, you know, but this is what meditation does for me. I have this calmer mind, where it's much easier for me to choose me rather than situation. I hope that does make sense.
It does, yeah, because morning is actually the most important part of the day. It is really what we set our mind to. That's how it's going to kind of unroll, evolve, you know, how it's going to happen. So if we start by looking at Facebook and, you know, watching everybody else's life and everything, start comparing ourselves and thinking about what they have, what I don't have, etc., you know, then obviously it's not going to help you. But if you really start by doing something for yourself, purely for yourself, you give that time to yourself and that energy, then the day is completely different. As you said, the reactions are different on a different level because you are much calmer. So yeah, absolutely. And you were also talking about exercise, that it's kind of like you kind of thought about giving it up, but then it wouldn't leave you.
Do you know, I've loved, I always have been loving sports since I was very little. You know, physical activity literally runs in my veins. So trying to get rid of it is like trying to kind of I think kill myself. the right word to describe it. That might be a little bit extreme, but you know, that's the only word that popped into my head at the time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about giving it up and just going full on mindset coaching. But I know very well that physical activity is even as simple as going outside, you know, being in nature, walking. It has tremendous impact on our mind, on our emotions. And so we are designed to move. We always have been, you know, and regardless people's abilities, you know, I don't think you will have excuse for not moving. Unless we are really, you know, just like on the bed where we can't just move with a finger, then I can understand. But for everyone who has some sort of ability to move their body, they're supposed to be moving their body, because this is how we are designed. We're supposed to move, and this has massive, tremendous positive impact on our mind. You know, we are really releasing lots of, you know, positive hormones like endorphins, the hormones of happiness when we move our body. But just going out there, even a simple thing, going outside for 20 minutes walk without any devices, where you just keep scrolling Facebook pages, you know, this is not your time. This is waste of time, right? Having this 20 minutes time for yourself when you actually walk in the nature and you're observing everything around is very, very grounding, and makes you appreciate where you are. Even just the 20 minutes. I love fitness. I can go crazy, you know, with my weights, kettlebells and everything else, you know, but it's not always about, you know, just swinging heavy weights around, you know, just doing vigorous movements. Sometimes it's just about moving, about this feminine energy, because when you're just walking softly and you're just observing everything, this is a very feminine energy. Masculine is when you're lifting something heavy, where you're just really like, or power walking is also masculine. But I'm talking about something even as soft as just a gentle walk. That has massive impact on our body, you know, and our mind. So that's why I said to myself, no, I'm not going to scrape it. I'm not going just to put it in the box and just stick a label, you know, just past. No. It's still here, and I'm taking it to the future as well.
Well, it's part of you. It's part of who you are, and you have obviously massive passion for it. So you can't just like chuck it in the bin and that's it. You know, I've done it, now I'm going to do something else. Plus, I think it really complements what you are doing, because holistic, you know, mental health and fitness, like any exercise, you know, even walking, you know, anything really combines into one massive like ball of advantages towards a healthy life, you know. So why would you give up something that serves you well, you know?
Well, the thing is, you see, I'm also a human being, you know, and when you get to a certain point, you know, which I thought I reached, I thought, all right, so maybe this is the chapter of my life which I've just accomplished, finished, and it's time to move on. And like I said to you, I started, you know, just studying, you know, I upgraded myself, and I thought, okay, so this element is not important, you know, anymore. But that's not true, you know, so I took it back. And I do understand this is just important part of me, which I can't get rid of. No, I can, but I don't want to. You know, I don't want to, because it's very important. It makes everything roll so smoothly. And what's the future gonna bring? Do you know? I don't know, and I don't think if anyone does. You know. But at this moment in time, I'm just embracing and appreciating what I have and what I've now accomplished, and I'm just open for what's more to come.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you said it. And I like that you said you appreciate everything you have, because I think that's all we have right now. There is no more. Like everything we have right now, where we are, you know, how we think, it's all we have. And there is nothing else that we can think about other than appreciation and gratefulness. So it's really nice. And I think because as you talk about what's really helping you and what's part of your life, people need to look inside themselves and find what serves them. Because when they find it, then they know how to get out of those tough times, because it's always a decision-making time. You know, life will be testing us every time. Like, you know, there will be something. We cannot like plan our life and right now I'm going to be happy and nothing's ever going to surprise me. No, life will test us always through other people, through circumstances, through situations, you know, hiccups, etc., etc., anything. But if people start tapping into themselves and they find that passion that you have or what I have, then we know when we are low, well, get moving, get out, you know, of that space in your mind where you are. Because really, if you don't move, then nothing's gonna change. So what to expect? So,
and again,
nice
decision, isn't it?
decision sounds so easy, right, for us? But I think even for us, it was many kind of like tries to make a decision and failing a few times too. Because, you know, it's very easy to say go and exercise, but also your mind remembers how you felt. The minute you get back into the same position you were before you exercised, you might as well be back in the same mindset you were.
Yeah.
That's how powerful actually it is to move. But when you move, you've got to move differently so that you come out of it and you don't come back to it. You need to give body something else to think about, something else to feel, and then everything else around kind of comes together, if I say it that way. So yeah, you were very close to going crazy, but you didn't allow it to happen. I like that. I was there too, and I think that's the biggest lesson we can learn in life when we face it and when we make the decision to do something about it, because life changes from then. You know, from that moment when you really find your ways, how to work on yourself, how you can move from that space, that's when life starts making sense, you know. And that's when you really start appreciating where you are, what you have, and what future brings. It's a surprise. Come on, let's wait for it, you know. It's not going to be great all the time, but let's learn. That's how I would say it.
I don't remember who said that, but I really like that quote, which says, life doesn't happen to us, life happens for us. And again, you know, this brings another, you know, different light to how we look at things, because if you really change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. It's really the perspective, you know, you have. And you can either allow life to kick you down to the ground. If you have this in your head, if you have it in your mind that, you know, just everything is against you, or you can turn it around, you know, and you can use it as an opportunity to work what needs to be worked on, which is you, you know. Because this is another thing, I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or not, but you know, sometimes people say, you know, oh, that person pressed my buttons, you know, they're pressing my buttons. But the thing is, you see, people are not installing those buttons in you. Those buttons are already in you. They are just allowing you to realize that you have them so you can work on them. And it's the same with life, you know, things will be coming for you to realize what you still need to work on.
It's true, 100%. Yeah, because as you say it, it will be one of those tests, and it's like, he's annoying me. No, there is something in me that I have not worked on yet. That's why he's reminding me, hello, you've got to work on that, you know, and I'm going to test it again and again until you do. That's why things come back to us, isn't it? And always when we feel if anything is touching us, it means that something inside us needs attention. And this is the way it asks for attention, you know. I find it fascinating because if you really think about it, you know, there is so much happening in life. And when we are busy, we kind of overlook these things, you know, and there is that reaction to the situation, to the person. And then we are like, you know, and it's just that moment of realization. One, stop, slow down, and think. And ask why. It's as simple as that. And then it's really a matter of, what do I do about it, right? Will I let it happen again? Or will I try to work on it and make sure that next time I'm just okay, because it's gonna probably happen. So yeah, I find it fascinating. Yeah, I think these days people were very much facing challenges to look inside themselves, you know, especially like at home with families and people around them. because it is, we are affecting each other. But now we had actually more time, more than we ever wanted, probably. But I think it was really an eye-opening experience, and it still is. So how are you feeling about, you know, last year, what's been happening, and it's kind of still continuing into this year?
I think the first year, last year, my personal experience and what I've learned from my clients was kind of probably easier. First of all, it was shock. Shock to the system, kind of a very new situation where you had to pull all of your sources to adapt yourself to the new circumstances. So it was still engaging your mind in some way. And we went into first lockdown in March. So it was kind of springtime, you know. The weather was improving, so it wasn't so dull, you know, you could go outside, you could do things outside. The weather was actually lovely. And I think people find what was positive about it, they find it that they could spend more time with families, because they were just constantly stuck in this on this hamster wheel, doing, you know, just day in day out the same thing. They were just forgetting about what was really important to them. So that was great. But things, you know, what once people start adapting to a challenging situation, they start finding different ways how to override rules. You know, probably I'm one of those, you know. But this year, I think, from what I've heard, from what I feel, is a little bit harder. But only because I believe that it always gets the hardest before it gets better. But it hardest partially because of the weather, and so many people suffer with winter blues. And being in the lockdown, when you're limited from doing everything what helps you to stay positive, has a massive impact, you know, how it actually drains you more than ever before. So this is, I would say, probably additional thing that can make people feel really, really bad, because first of all, they are sick and tired of the situation. They just want to go back to normal. Second, the weather is not the best. You know, the days, thanks God, you know, days are getting longer now. The weather, the sun seem to be, you know, just popping out more often now as well. So I think, like I said to you before, everything is temporary, but I think people are oversaturated with it. And, you know, every single change that is a little bit more dull or, you know, just negative, weigh people down even more than it usually does. But you have to just remembering that this shall pass. This shall pass. And I believe that making a long-term plans at the moment goes is maybe not the best idea. I would suggest to focus on making sure that the day ahead is as best as you can make it, you know, just to be, you know, just focus on those things that you can manage, that you can influence, you can impact. And it could be, you know, as simple as organizing, you know, just your house so you feel comfortable in it, you know, contacting people. This is so important, you know. Thanks God we have the internet. And like, look, you're in Prague, I'm in Cheltenham, and we can have this conversation, which is a massive and positive stimulation for our well-being, you know, because first of all, we have a conversation which we enjoy. We're sharing our experiences. We feel, I hope you too, feel like you are being heard. And that lifts your spirit, meaning that will help you to carry on with your day. You'll feel like you've done something for you. And because you're sharing your story, you're sharing those lives, you know, this also impacts, you know, other people's life. And this is where your passion, where your purpose, life purpose, is feeling that you're being fulfilled. So you're ticking these boxes and you're doing it, like, you know, just on a regular basis. So this is a little thing that doesn't cost you too much. All you have to do is just grab your phone and contact someone who you're gonna have a good, you know, just conversation with. And I'm talking about you because I know that you're going and sharing this with other people. But Not everybody has to just record, just interview and just share it with the world. As long as they do it for themselves, that will impact them. And if they are positively impacted by their own choices, if they feel good, only the best will be coming out of them, and the day will be good. And if they're gonna do the same thing following day and the following day and the following day, before they know it, the COVID will be finished. There might be something older coming along. I don't know, I don't want to predict anything. I just really want to have a good life, like everybody else. But you will know that you have some way to going about it and looking after yourself, so you can really look forward rather than just focusing on what really just pull you down. So.
I like that. Yeah. I think I've got goosebumps, so I think I'm just gonna leave it at that because there is just no more to say, really. I think how we started, how not to get crazy, everything comes back to us, really, to find what makes us happy, rather than keeping that mindset that I'm going crazy. The situation is what it is. It's bad, but it's my choice to kind of pay attention to it and let it absorb me when that's not serving me at all. So I like how you talked about finding your kind of way, what serves you, what really makes you feel good, and doing that. It doesn't necessarily have to be this that we are doing, sharing with the world, but yes, picking up the phone and speaking to someone, having a conversation can make a huge difference, a huge one. So it's just nice.
And the thing, this is the thing. If you look at it from the perspective of energy and vibration, if you're in this kind, if you're passionate about it as much as I am, if you can't find something as easy as that, having chat with someone, and you can raise your energy, you can raise your vibe, then the decisions that you're making from this better feeling place are much better for you and everybody else around. So it's really important that you do something to feel good. It's not kind of an act of selfishness, the negative, a selfishness. I don't even think if there is a such thing like there is something bad about being selfish, because if you really care how you feel, which is selfishness in my opinion, then when you really feel good, only the best come out of you, so everybody else benefits from that. So it's really about choosing you every single day. And if you feel crap, admit it. Don't try to suppress it. Feel those emotions. We have this variety of different emotions for a reason. We are humans. We're supposed to experience them, but just keep reminding yourself that nothing lasts forever. If someone really drives you crazy and you feel you want to shout, you don't have to pretend that you're super spiritual and nothing can touch you. Because if you're really triggered and you have to just get it off your chest, get it off your chest. Get it off your chest. Just say what you feel, because if you're going to be suppressing those emotions, you're going to be creating this ticking bomb. And once this explodes, it's going to have a really bad impact on you as well as everybody else. So sometimes having those bad moments is actually not the bad thing. It's just the way how we look at them. So I think I can chat with you for
we could somehow. So what would if there was like one key tip you could give to anyone who's kind of like been struggling, feeling very low for a long time, or even for a bit, just that one thing they could do right now to change that, what would you suggest to them?
You always surprise me with this one question, aren't you? Do you know what? It always depends on from person to person who I'm talking to, because you feel it. But I would say, look in the mirror and appreciate yourself for who you are, because you're looking at this person who's been through so much and is still standing, and guess what? You're still going. You're not finished. And be you, and be you, and be you.
Be you, be yourself. I like that. We're gonna just let that go into the world. to the people, because that is just no more than be yourself. No one else, just you.
That's
High
like
five.
the
Ange,
most
thank
important
you
thing.
so much. It is the most important thing. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was just amazing. Always good to chat to you. And I'm sure we will catch up again soon. Okay.
And let me say thank you very much for inviting me again. I am delighted to share this space and time with you again. It's been amazing to chat with you. It's been amazing to connecting with your crowd. And I really, really, really wish that there will be someone who really need to hear that message, and it's gonna help them immensely. So lots of love to you and to everybody who watched that.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.